Welcome to the latest edition of the Fourth and Gold NFL podcast. It's been an interesting week. We could put it that way. This week, we received an official announcement that the league will start on the 9th of September, a Wednesday. So Seattle will open on a Wednesday. And that will be closely followed by the the NFC West matchup between the Rams and the 49ers, who will play in Melbourne on Friday, the 11th of September at 10:35 a.m. local time. So that's very different. We also saw this week, I think Joe Flacco crash out a bit because he seemed pretty upset that quote unquote dumb teams didn't sign him to be the starter this year. I thought
Yes.
that was interesting. um, Another thing that we saw was a lot of ridiculous overreaction to flag football play.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go any further on that. And last of all, I just want to say, Chiefs haters out there, Patrick Mahomes is throwing the football once again. Is there anything you want to add, Paul, before we get into this pod?
Well, of course he's throwing the football. There was never an issue with his arm, was there?
Yeah.
Because it's a lower body issue. So yeah, I don't think anything's changed on the Mahomes thing. It's still gonna be, from what I remember, kind of touch and go whether he makes it for week one. So Justin Fields is in the building, or gonna be in the building when they turn up. And yeah, so still confident, maybe delusional in Justin Fields to at least benefit from the Chiefs and their coaching. Yeah, the wide receiver money just continues to just go up and up and up. And yeah, yeah, that's a crazy thing. Flag football, don't ask me. No idea. I haven't watched it. Don't plan on watching it. Don't even know who participated. Um, and yeah, Flacco, love the confidence for the old man. I mean, yeah, he's been around now, and yeah, he still wants to play. So yeah, I love the confidence from him, and he'll be playing somewhere. Somebody's going to get hurt, it always happens. And yeah, let's see what happens with Flacco. So yeah, that's it really from me, from broad overview of like what's going on in NFL.
Yeah. So why don't we hit on the biggest story this week, which I think has to be the Seahawks extending Jaxon Smith-Njigba,
Yeah.
right? They made him the highest paid receiver, but there's some details to this. So he's the highest paid receiver when you look at it from a new money average, which means that it's a 4-year extension, but the Seahawks actually have him under contract for the next 6 years now. So the 4-year extension, I believe, is worth 42.25 million per year. But what they did last week, which I thought was quite clever, is they activated his 5th-year option. So when you look at the totality of this 6-year deal, if you average it out that way, it's actually 32.5 million per year. So when you look at it that way, that seems more reasonable. Now I know that obviously you're getting a decent cap number for year one and year two because it's basically the old contract. In 2 years' time, the cap is going to have gone up. It goes up every year. So it sounds crazy, but I actually think this is quite a smart deal for the Seahawks. I just wonder whether or not JSN is going to be happy as we progress through this contract because let's face it, the market is just going to keep going up and up.
The signing bonus was 30,
35.
$35 million. And So it's not upfront, it's equated each year.
He receives it up front, I believe, and it's averaged out across the 6 years. So again, that's sort of like, is it like 6 or 7 million per year across the, or maybe it's the 4 years that it gets spread out across. So even still, that just helps them manage it, that bit more.
I think, and it's rare this happens, I think it's a win both sides because JSN is 24, I believe. So he's gonna right, and this deal is never he's never going to get to the end of this deal and it's going to be as it is. Like it's very rare that that actually happens, except if it's a terrible deal and the guy's not producing. Hello, Deshaun Watson, for example, and they can't get out of it. Um, they're going to have contractual rights for JSN until age 30. Receivers are still producing at age 30. The cap is going to go up, as you've outlined. Wide receivers are now the go-to guys in the NFL. He's the NFC Offensive Player of the Year.
I
Yeah,
think I think so. Yeah, yeah.
he's the Offensive Player of the Year, right? Contracted up until age 30. The Seahawks have a young roster that, they let Kenneth Walker go. Okay, it's a lot easier to replace a running back than it is like a top flight elite receiver. And you look at JSN and go, yeah, he's not that big. Like you want a dominant kind of body type. Okay, the league's different now. Like Jamar Chase and Jefferson aren't Megatron, but they're nobody's Megatron. Like these receivers now, he was dominant down the field as well as like in the short game. So I think it's a win for both sides. And the Seahawks are just going to continue to get better with JSN. I think they identified that, right, yeah, we've got a potential problem upcoming with these guys. And they're, a victim of their own success of drafting well. And that's what good teams do. Generally, they extend the guys that they draft to turn into superstars. They don't do what other teams, not naming names, but other teams, who delay and delay, and then the price just goes up and up and up. And this price has gone up. He is the highest paid receiver, average per year or in terms of new money, like you've outlined. But I think it's a win for both sides. JSN should be happy. He's got his money. And the Seahawks should be happy that they've got a superstar under contract up until age 30.
I totally agree because as much as Kenneth Walker was amazing for them, he has had an injury history, and the running back position is a grueling position. So, as hard as that must have been to make that decision, I think they have made the right decision. And what they've done is they've also ensured that they've retained Rashid Shaheed, who, okay, I don't think that he's like upper tier number two, but because he's so dangerous with his explosiveness, you have to account for him. So you have two legit outside weapons there.
Yep.
I know that next year, I would think that a lot of teams this offseason will see that we've got to stop JSN. I think I said the same thing last offseason about Saquon Barkley. And JSN, I believe, accounted for over 60% of receiving yards for Seattle this year. So they're going to have to come up with, an adjusted plan, shall we say, because I think he'll be seeing a lot of double coverage.
Yeah, and they've lost their OC, so that's yet to be played out. But yeah, he had an amazing year, like, incredible. So credit to him. You like to see like young receivers who've produced get paid, and good teams do deals early before it's too late.
Absolutely. Like I know the price feels staggering, but you were always going to pay this guy.
Yeah.
So get it done. Like I said, the fact that they've kind of secured him for 6 years to me is a massive win.
Yeah, the running back, like you said, Kenneth Walker, yes, spectacular. But the running back, he could be game over on any collision, or just year to year, like
Yeah.
they suddenly drop. So, not saying that will happen with Kenneth Walker. I'm not hoping that it does, but it's risky with running backs. Wide receivers are much more, especially with the new modern NFL and play calling, that wide receivers just, you have a dominant wide receiver. What will be interesting though is that it's rare to see a team that wins Super Bowls with, I think the closest was the Bengals in that Rams Super Bowl.
Could you class the Eagles? I mean, they did a number of deals really early that reduced their cap for that year. So like AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, but you know, maybe that wasn't like top level um
Yeah,
deals.
yeah, they're not Jefferson Chase.
Like 40 million, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting year upcoming because Seahawks Rams with the receivers, like are they with the cap? Are they? But the cap doesn't hit, like you said, the cap doesn't hit until later. So Seahawks are still flexible, like at currently, so they can still fill out their roster now. And yeah, this was not a. It's not. It wasn't a superstar laden free agent class. So the Seahawks weren't on. Haven't really hurt themselves by missing out on guys. I don't think.
Agreed. And they've let a few people walk out the door now.
Mm.
So Tariq Woolen, I believe, signed with the Eagles for 1 year, 15 million.
Okay.
They were never going to get there with that. I think Maffei, the edge rusher's gone.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kenneth Walker. So we know this GM has got full confidence in drafting players, and he's got a proven track record. So
Yeah. And where
they've made the right choices, I think.
it really, really hits in the later rounds, from rounds 3 to 7, when your Eagles and Ravens of the world with their comp picks really make the draft. Like years later, like damn, they got him in round 4, and how did they get that from a comp pick from a free agent, a comp pick from a free agent who left? They're like, yeah, no, we're good. We'll just rinse and repeat. We're good. We trust ourselves. Our personnel guys, our scouts are like excellent. So yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, still on the topic of Seattle, they've they've obviously secured JSN. They also activated the 5th year option on their other first round pick from 2023 last week, Devon Witherspoon. So I guess if we're playing GM with Seattle, what should they do with Witherspoon? And I'm going to say Darnold too, because Darnold is in year 2, or he's going into year 2 of a 3 year, $100 million deal. So it's almost like now your quarterback is not the highest paid player on this team. And in a few weeks, he might not even be the second highest. So I'm just going to say this on Devon Witherspoon: copy and paste what you did with JSN, because you could do the same exact kind of deal where you say, okay, McDuffie's now the highest paid corner. We're going to put you a hair above him in new money average, but we'll secure you for 6 years as well. And you'll have those two tied, two great players tied for the next 6 years. And by all, by everything I've heard and read, Witherspoon is loved in that organization.
Yeah, he's a hard player to evaluate because he'll play nickel and he'll blitz and as well as cover on the outside and a great open field tackler. So do you pay him like a Pat Surtain or like back in the day Darrell Revis, or do you you can't treat him like a nickel, you can't pay him like a nickel, but what do you do with Witherspoon? And what we don't know is the motivation of the players. So, are they all about the money, or are they about championships? And what is that relationship in that organization between the player and the GM and the owner and their families as well? How settled are they? Like, Darnold and his family, how have they settled into life? Obviously, they won a championship, but how is the family settling in Seattle?
Mm.
They might be very happy, but the climate in Seattle is not perfect. And so, yeah, you just don't. There's a lot that goes into it. And Sam Darnold obviously has had his struggles throughout his career, well documented, but and because of that, he's never been in position to demand the payday, the life changing payday. But all I'll say is like, if Daniel Jones is worth X and Sam Darnold, Super Bowl champion, is got to be X plus something equals Sam Darnold. But does Sam Darnold want to go chase the bag, or does he want more rings? And
Yeah.
how do they manage that? Like, so this is an upcoming negotiation. Witherspoon, I think, is more straightforward. I think they'll just do it.
Yeah. 100%. Like, that's what I was thinking. You've paid JSN, go and make that same deal with Witherspoon and tie him down for 6 years, and then maybe just sit back on Darnold. Like, I think with Darnold, you could say to him, look, we've had to pay these guys this year. What I think they could do is an adjustment where they push some of the money in year three into year two and say, look, let's revisit it in a year's time. And as you said, like, does Darnold want to go somewhere else? He's just won a Super Bowl here.
Yeah,
He is the guy here right now, shall we say. And he played at a good, at a high level last year. So while that's all true, if you're Seattle, I'm still not sort of saying, well, let's go ahead and just secure you for the next 5 years. Let's just take a deep breath for a year,
yeah,
get you some extra cash up front, and then, you know, you're next year.
yeah. I mean, he's seen the other side. He's seen
Yeah.
he's seen the Jets. He's seen the Panthers. So, and he's lucky. Like it's a business, of course, but is he appreciative of the opportunity that the Seahawks gave to him to get that championship? I don't know. Does he
Very true.
translate that into cash dollars, or does he translate that into I'll do? They've done me as well. It worked out for both sides, but I don't recall there being a huge bidding war for Sam Darnold coming out of. Well, it was kind of surprising that I remember being surprised that the Seahawks got him for so little at the
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it was all we were hearing in the reports that it's going to be sort of like above 40 million,
Yeah,
and then it turned out not to be. But what I would say is that he's getting quite a big bump this year. I think year one, okay, he got his signing bonus, so that was I can't remember exact amount, but I think he's still living good this year. So it's not like he's losing out, shall we say. But it does come to that question, like you said. If Daniel Jones is at 44,
yeah. Sorry, I hate to do it, but yeah, it's not only is it Daniel Jones, but it's recent and they were in Minnesota together, and you know,
So we're going to see the mentality of Sam Darnold and his agent, but I think there's a chance that he will be patient because, like you said, it's money's one thing. I mean, 100 million is a lot anyway, right? But it's also having been on the other side a good few times.
yeah,
Who doesn't want to return to that? So yeah, I would expect Devon Witherspoon's contract to get done pretty soon.
yeah, yeah. I fully expect that to get done. I would expect that to get done by training camp. Like, yeah, the fifth year option just buys them the time to do it.
Yeah, and by virtue, yeah, you get the ego win to sort of say new money average is the highest ever.
Mm.
But in truth, if that, let's say it's at 30 and a half or 31, I'm not sure what McDuffie's deal was exactly, it's around that. Really and truly, over the 6 years, it's much below that. So it makes sense with these two first round picks that you've got going into their fourth year to secure them for that period. It just makes sense for both sides.
The only thing with the Seahawks is that when you think of the essential players who helped them get to and win the Super Bowl last year, I would only say that Kenneth Walker is the one that you go, oh, damn, he's gone. Like, wow. And yeah, he's a running back. Okay. They're apparently easy to replace in the right system, but I'm hearing this is a poor upcoming running back draft. And
Mm.
if you go player for player, yeah, who was essential to the Seahawks winning? Darnold, Witherspoon, Kenneth Walker, JSN, a couple of guys, and they lost the safety. Bryant, he was a big piece. Tariq Woolen turned out to be inconsistent from
Yeah,
like when he first came into the league. You're like, wow, he's dominant, like huge. He's really dominant.
gave up a lot of big plays last year.
Yeah, he turned out to be a bit. You're not devastated to lose Tariq Woolen. Like 15 million. Nah, we trust our system. We'll go get another corner. But of the guys that I mentioned, yeah, Kenneth Walker would be the one you go, okay, that could be tough to replace.
Yeah, because I think the biggest loss, as you said, was the fact they lost Kubiak. That's the biggest question mark.
Yeah, that's two determined, of course.
Yeah, yeah, and Kenneth Walker, no doubt about it. You're gonna feel that void, but you do have Charbonnet. Like I do like Charbonnet. I don't know if he's a number one or not, but it's gonna be by committee. And I think they signed Emmanuel Wilson from the Packers, who I do like as a role playing running back. Like he can give you some good reps. So if you can add someone else into the mix, it becomes just a free for all competition. Someone step up.
Yeah, you trust them. They got the history with it. Obviously, they identified and drafted Kenneth Walker. So, can they find that diamond in the dirt in the draft? We'll see. But you do look at the backfield now and you go, oh, Charbonnet is number one. Okay. Yeah, he's really good. But that was when he was spotting Kenneth Walker. So now
Mm,
it's to be determined. We don't know.
it is, yeah. So I think it's important that they were able to retain Rashid Shaheed. I
Yeah.
would think that Cup is still on. Yeah, Cup must be still on the roster. He wasn't a free agent. So you've got your three. You know, it's like you said, who can they add into this mix? Because if they've got a good group of players there, you know,
Yeah.
it's all going to come on the new offensive coordinator and how the scheme can operate. Can it be as effective as Kubiak was?
Absolutely. The Seahawks are just fine.
Yeah.
Just fine.
And defensively, like I've got no worries about that. Well, I've got worries because I'm in their division. But if I'm them, I have no worries about who we've lost because I think, yeah, these secondary players, it's hard to lose a group that have been there for a while, but as long as they retain Witherspoon, they've got a front seven who, okay, some of them are getting up there in age, but clearly they're still productive. So yeah, they are they are going to be a force, and it'd be interesting to see these Rams games this year because the Rams have obviously upgraded at corner, so we've got some interesting wide receiver corner battles to take place, I think.
The Rams can't pick on Tariq Woolen anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So on the topic of the Rams, like JSN, his deal's been done. Puka Nacua is next in line. He's in his fourth year, so final year of the rookie contract. He wasn't a first round pick, therefore, therefore there is no fifth year option. It's quite simple. You have to extend him, or you're going to have some trouble. And I don't know what that means because I do think Nakua is better than JSN right now, personally. And we're talking nitpicking. Like these two are great. These two are top five receivers. But if we had to choose, I would choose Nakua. But that comes with some risk because Nakua's style of play puts him physically in trouble. So to make such a commitment, like, because you're going to have to usurp JSN's deal, to make that commitment, I think it's a little bit more risky, even though I do prefer Nakua to JSN.
Yeah, yeah. When will there be like an extension upcoming with a superstar that isn't like $1 more or a couple of million more than the previous guy? Like, who is going to be the guy who just says, "Do you know what? I like it here.
Mm.
Drafted me. I'm not worried about like, is it the player? Is it the agent? Is it just
Is it family? Yeah.
the generation that we're in? Like that, you know, it has to be more than the previous guy." And obviously, it's not every receiver you're talking or every player, but it's superstar blitz.
Yeah.
And yeah, Puka Nacua's next. But I heard that he's got some off the field troubles. So maybe they will wait to see what happens in that regard, or that will be written into the contract that
Mm.
have ways out of it, or I don't know. He sacrifices some money if allegations are proved.
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't fully heard the story. I just saw the tagline. So yeah, there'd be more to come with this one. This is not a. I don't think the Rams. I don't think it would be smart for the Rams to do it today, or they could do it today at a discount because of the off the field stuff. You don't.
You raise a good point. I think this is going to put the deal on hold a bit because, and it, like, I don't know anything about the details,
Yeah.
but the only thing that is a little bit fishy is that this would come out soon after JSN's deal was announced, because it's almost like, is this, and I don't want to make any accusations, but is this like an attack on Nakua to make sure he doesn't get his deal? Because this incident wasn't like last week; it was a few months ago, I believe.
Okay.
Um, but let all things being well, like if he is cleared, I wonder if it still creates a bit of a problem for, because the Rams. This is a huge amount of money to give one player that's not quarterback. You know, I have trouble already with, like, we've got to give your quarterback 50 million. That's a lot of your cap.
Yeah.
So it begs the question, like, at what point is it too much? Like, how much is too much to give to a receiver, for example, or another skill position where you're sort of giving up, I want to say, about a sixth or a seventh, of your cap to one player?
I can't think of a team in the NFL. who has superstar quarterback. Well, no, sorry, I'll rephrase that. That is paying a superstar quarterback top money, a pass rusher top money, and a receiver top money. Name me
No.
like
The closest you're going to get is basically the Bengals, who are paying superstar quarterback, superstar receiver, and then top end number two receiver money. And look at them. They've got no defense.
they had to let the pass rusher go.
Yeah. So,
But
you
then
know,
because of that, the Bengals, I mean, they had nobody else on defense except
yeah.
Henry. So and
That's where it gets tricky.
yeah, and no offensive line. Well, a struggling offensive line.
So with the Rams, they're paying Stafford substantially well, and rightly so. But who else on that roster is, well, McDuffie now?
Yeah, well, Jared Verse hasn't been done yet.
Yeah,
He's an upcoming problem,
he's coming up. Yeah,
and yeah, like you said, McDuffie, Devontae Adams isn't paid like
too crazy. No,
um, they
but then you add Nakua at 42, well, 43, shall we say? He one ups JSN. That window closes pretty quickly. But I suppose they've got in there, and probably in the back of their mind, how long is Stafford going to play for?
yeah.
Because if he walks away next year, Nakua basically replaces what you're paying for Stafford, and then you're onto a rookie deal probably with your quarterback.
Well, the Rams, and it just comes to me that the Rams, they'll, because, like you said, they pay this guy, this guy, this guy. So the rest of their roster is struggling. So what they have to do is they have to draft well. So they have to draft, especially in the later rounds. So, and what the Rams would do, what do the Rams do in the first round? Quite often, they'll
They,
pick, or they'll trade out of the first round
yeah,
to pick up more picks later. And the later picks are cheaper.
they are. Yeah.
You can accumulate multiple of those if you can trade out of the first round.
I don't think they do it this year though, because 13. Well, I don't know, because it depends on the draft. Like, do they like this draft or don't they? I mean, clearly in the last, I don't know, was it 8 or 9 years, they've liked one pick, and that was Verse, so they nailed it. But every other year, like you said, they've either traded their first round pick for a player or traded out. And I wonder what kind of deal they could get for 13. Is it one of those where they just move back, they move initially back in the first round into the 20s,
Yeah.
and then they move again, and you can be very creative with this stuff.
Yeah. I would not be shocked if you give me like a betting line and team not to pick in the first round. Obviously, there's a few teams who don't have a first round pick, but a team to trade their first round pick, and I would bet the Rams. Like
Mm.
finally now, if somebody said, right, you got to make a pick on a team to trade out the first round. Used to be back in the day like the Patriots. Then the Chiefs took that over, and now the Rams. So the Eagles or the teams like trading back in, and you look at the teams that trade out the first rounds. Generally, they're teams that do pretty well.
Yeah, agreed. So I don't think we've got a good answer right now for Nakua. Like, if he gets cleared, then I think they make the deal.
Yeah,
But if this goes on, and these things can go on,
yeah,
like if this becomes like a full-on civil lawsuit,
yeah.
this could go on for like a year.
Yeah, I fully expect to see Florio videos on this for and months to come.
Yeah.
I think this is just going to go on and on and on. And obviously, him with his legal background, he'll be all over it.
Mm.
And yeah, we'll see. But yeah, this is unfortunate. The timing of it, like you said.
Nakua, but if it gets to September and this deal hasn't been done, is Nakua realistically going to play at like 6 million per year? that's what makes me think that this will get sorted.
Yeah, I'll probably be settled.
Yeah.
Probably be settled by Nacua, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, for the greater good. For the greater good. So from one receiver that is now in line to another, it's George Pickens. I want to revisit this because a lot of people, including Florio, have kind of been criticizing the Cowboys for their approach with this. And normally I'm right there with everyone criticizing the Cowboys on these deals. You know, Micah Parsons last year, not even just last year, the last 3 years, they completely screwed that up. But with this one, I actually think they're doing the right thing right now. They've tagged him and they're trying to find a resolution. I don't know what that is, but and again, this is hard because Pickens is such a talent. But if you're asking me to be the Cowboys GM and Pickens is asking for market resetting money, I can't do it. I can't do it. This is a guy that hasn't been in trouble off the field, right? Not really, yeah.
Uh,
Okay, him and CeeDee Lamb were out gambling, I think, when they were, preparing for the Vegas game.
yeah,
But
yeah, it's more petty stuff. It's not felonies.
no,
It's he's just he's just a pain, George. Like, and yeah, there's probably stuff that you do not hear about.
yeah,
Steelers receiver might come out later. I don't know. Maybe in Mike Tomlin's book whenever that's released. But I don't think Tomlin's that kind of guy. I don't think.
no.
I think it goes with him to the grave. All the AB and Martavis Bryant and George Pickens stories, whoever else. Um, yeah, so it's the Cowboys. So they've got history. So people are going to pile on the Cowboys. But I'm with you. I agree that you should treat George Pickens not as a different case than the previous ones. But they're in this position because of, like you said, the Micah Parsons, and more importantly, the Dak Prescott one. The Dak Prescott one is just stupid. Still, it looks just crazy money. He's the top paid player in the NFL. He is not the best player in the NFL, just full stop. He's not, I'm not getting into a quarterback list, but
He's not one of the top 10 quarterbacks in this league. I'm sorry.
I didn't do it. I didn't make the
I
list.
did it. I did it for
Okay.
you.
Okay. But yeah, so because of that, you don't have the cap. And then if you did have the cap, then you can maybe, offer Pickens a little sweetener. But you don't. So, and because you don't have the cap, you can't do it. And then because you can't do it, then people just pile on the Cowboys. And for once, I'm actually going to defend the Cowboys. They're in this position because of their own previous errors with the cap. So, yeah, George Pickens, I would be careful about handing him an extension because, he could just go, okay, I'm good. Now I am going to sit and do nada.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or I'm going to,
Will,
I can crash out now.
yeah, will he behave himself? Based on last year, I don't think he's matured. He's maybe matured a little bit, but it's a slow progression with him. Never the talent's always been there. And you saw that last year, he was spectacular. But in terms of maturity, he probably progressed a little bit from Pittsburgh to Dallas. So he was less of a pain in the butt than he was with the Steelers, slightly.
In year one.
Yeah, in year one, where he was, chasing the payday.
Mm. It's
But
a tough one because, you know, it's amazing the way people are looking at it. Like Chris Sims, for example, saying, later in the year, everyone's focused on Pickens, not CeeDee Lamb. I'm
yeah,
like, okay, fair, but it's because he's got CeeDee Lamb with with him there. So I don't think I can use that as an argument to justify 43 million per year for
Yeah, I
Pickens.
still have missed some time, and George Pickens was incredible in moments. But it's the it's the kind of generation that we live in that people are like want to hate on the Cowboys and want to hate on Pickens because no, I've heard that this guy was a pain in the butt in Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh have the history, so then Dallas have the same history, so then we join in all the dots together and going, oh, okay, it must be this. Well, every case is different,
Mm.
but yeah, look, what we do know is that George Pickens is ridiculously good at playing football, and provided he doesn't have a total meltdown, he will get paid, whether it is with the Cowboys, and I don't know how the hell they do that, or with somebody else. He just needs to actually just turn up.
I don't think that Pickens is going to play on the tag. So I don't know what the resolution is here. I feel like Dallas has to find a trade partner.
It would be a massive like mental progression. Imagine George Pickens turning up and behaving himself and playing the whole year with very little or no off the field stuff.
Yeah,
I would be shocked, but that is probably his smartest play.
yeah, and he's found clearly, this situation. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens.
Yeah,
we saw the offense last year.
he has to decide where he wants to play. If he wants to play in Dallas, then see, I don't know how they get it done. I don't. You're much more of a capologist than me, but I don't know how they get it done in Dallas. So if he's okay with playing anywhere else, then maybe he needs to be a pain in the butt so that they trade him, and then he'll get traded, and then his contract will get redone, and he'll get crazy money this year.
That's the thing, because the further this goes along, generally speaking, the more agitated both sides get. So
Yeah.
I don't, it's typical Cowboys. This won't be resolved, in the next few weeks. Like, this will go on all off season.
Imagine clearly liked his trip to Vegas. Imagine him getting tagged and traded to the Raiders.
They have the room.
They have cap.
Well, I think they still have room to do that. So they need, they need a receiver like that to
so dangerous.
yeah.
Like he would need to be on house arrest all the time.
Because you traded him to Dallas for a third round pick, right?
We got a 2, I believe. Oh no, it was a third. It was a third. Yeah.
So you have to feel the way that he played, it's going to be more than that this time around.
Yeah.
Might just, even if it's just to a second, but I would imagine the Cowboys would be looking for a first. And, maybe a team, well, that's where it's difficult, because the teams you're going to be targeting for trade aren't going to be teams in the 20s. They're going to be, in the lower half of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to be wanting to part ways with that higher pick.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Pickens, but I love the player. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, just thinking about that Thanksgiving Day game against the Chiefs, where they had no answer. Like they really had no answer. On his day, he is unbelievable.
Yeah, he really, really is.
So there's only a couple of other deals that happened this week. Well, notable ones. So first one is that the Falcons signed Bijan Robinson Jr. for $2.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I know him a lot more than I did, because he was backing up CMC last year.
Yep.
And I understand why he left, because really and truly, he wasn't really a backup. He got next to nothing in carries. Like you feel for him because every time every time he got a carry, like you could see it was like supercharged to I've got to make this count. And his the way that he carried himself, like he's a good he's high character and he was always ready to go. And he did try and make the most of his carries. But I guess when I look at this 1-2 punch now, he's backing up Bijan Robinson. It
Yeah.
just got me thinking, is this now the best 1-2 running back duo in the league? Because Dave Montgomery's left the Lions, so for me it was Jahmyr Gibbs and Big Dave. But this has got me just thinking, like, who else is out there as a duo like that is at this level? Because really, I think Brian Robinson Jr. is a low end number one running back.
Hmm.
Low end, low end.
Yeah, I liked him when he was on the Commanders,
Yeah,
but yeah, like you said, he suffered a bit by going to the 49ers.
yeah. But
Mm,
does that mean he's fresh? Because it was a year where he wasn't taking big hits, to be honest.
yeah. Top running back duo. Who's the Ravens' backup? I know, like obviously Dobbins is now gone. He was very good, obviously when healthy.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think
Who is
I think Justice Hill is out of there. Who's
is
the
he out of there? That's who I was thinking of, Justice Hill, because I think Keaton Mitchell is definitely gone.
yeah? I don't know. We'll revisit this top running back duo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's do that next week. So, uh, it did get me thinking. I was like, "There's no one." The fact that we can't think of a duo off the top of our heads makes it feel like they're going to be up there.
yeah. Well, that's just because of the strength. That's because it's Bijan Robinson. So
Yeah, yeah,
whoever's the backup in San Francisco, like okay, they're still going to be spectacular. Whoever's the backup in Baltimore is still, yeah, there's still King Henry and another.
and another. Yeah,
Yeah. So who's backing up Jahmyr Gibbs in Detroit now?
that's a good question. I don't know. I don't remember them signing anyone, so
Yeah, I mean
must be someone. But hmm.
Green Bay can run the football. Jacobs and another. Like they were they can really run the ball.
Yeah, they had Emmanuel Wilson, who's now in Seattle. So
Up until last year, the Seahawks with Walker and Charbonnet, and now that's taken a massive hit.
mm,
Now the
yeah,
Chiefs massive uptick with Walker and is Kareem Hunt still there? Is he still playing?
I don't know. Or Pacheco.
Pacheco's
Oh, Pacheco's gone.
gone to the Lions, so it's
That,
Pacheco Gibbs. Yeah,
that's interesting, but I don't know. Pacheco, I love his running style. I love his mindset,
yeah,
but it feels like last year he really kind of dropped off a bit.
yeah. But he's playing in a better running offense
Yeah, yeah,
than the Chiefs, so we'll see. And I think he's going to have a better year for sure than last year.
yeah. You. That's a fair point. Yeah. So, like, last deal I wanna cover really is this Travis Kelce deal. So, headline obviously 3 year, 54 million extension. I immediately messaged you because I was like just jaw dropped by it. But since then, we are learning, and it's not official yet, but we are learning that potentially it is just a 1 year deal. And that there's a massive like number out there that as long as the Chiefs, release him or renegotiate by next June 2027, the deal is basically phony for the year 2 and year 3. So they're getting him for 12 million by the sounds of it, and that could increase to 15 for the year. I still, I know that he is a legendary tight end. You know, I don't want to disrespect this guy because in his prime he was amazing. But I just question, like, is this the best deal that the Chiefs can make for their team right now? Because you've had to let McDuffie go, you've had to let your other corner Watson go,
Mm.
but you've got enough to pay, you know, your 37, 36-year-old tight end 15 up to 15 million.
Yeah.
That's just me challenging, you know, putting that question out there because we've seen the Chiefs cap situation.
Yeah.
It's not good. I don't know what they're going to do with Chris Jones's contract. I would just eat it for this year rather than, you know, restructure and deal then pay for it next year. But I'll put a question out to you. So Travis Kelce, 15 million. Would you rather Travis Kelce or one of these guys, right? So we're going into free agency. Isaiah Likely got 13 million per year. Would you rather have Kelce or Isaiah Likely?
Right now.
Right now. That's the thing. Like, no disrespect to Kelce. It's right now, not career wise.
Oh,
Right now.
I would still rather Travis Kelce. Yeah.
13 is a high number. I love Likely though. You know I love Likely, but
Yeah.
13 is a high number.
Travis Kelce can, despite his age, still turn up in moments and still turn up in big games and playoff games. And the problem is not Travis Kelce. Look, they might have, done him a solid and shown a bit of loyalty for past production. But the Chiefs from what I'm seeing, the Chiefs are kind of, and the corner thing, that's going to be the key to the Chiefs. They can replace the corners and they can navigate, maybe add a receiver to go with like Rashee Rice, because Rashee Rice has off the field issues and, so therefore could miss games and has consistency issues as well. And the other receivers that they've tried to just slot in there just haven't really worked.
Worthy has really not worked out so far.
No, it really hasn't. So Kenneth Walker coming in there, the offensive line isn't spectacular. But if they work it all out, so if they do, like they've done in the past, manage to find a couple of corners, or at least one corner and a role-playing corner, and Mahomes plays the majority of the season, and they find a receiver, then you can see what the Chiefs are doing. They've added Kenneth Walker. They brought back the enemy. They're going for it.
I think you're right. They've got to find that other receiver.
They are going for it this year. So, and I would not be shocked if they do it.
Yeah.
They draft a corner, and after a few weeks, you're like, damn, they did it again.
If they draft a corner, I'm gonna be like studying that corner because I'll be like, here we go again. Have they found their next McDuffie or their next Charvarius Ward?
Or do they trade for a corner because of where they finished last year? They've got a high pick in this year's draft. So therefore, they've got a high second and a high third. I think they're drafting, is it 10?
They've got 2 firsts, right?
They got 2 firsts?
Because of McDuffie.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
they've got number 10, I think, like you said, 9 or 10, and then 20, 28, maybe 29?
Yeah. So there's questions with Kansas City, but everything that they've done suggests to me that they're going for it this year.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to. I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I just have a gut feeling Mahomes is going to be playing week 1.
Yeah. Trusted their process that, look, the running game, big problem. Okay, we'll go and get the best running back, or like the Super Bowl MVP running back. Right, tick. Corners. Yeah, look, we just can't pay these guys. Okay, we're really good at drafting corners. We trust ourselves. Traded. The enemy, like Nagy, doesn't work out. Like, right.
Justin Fields' package to this offense. That's what I'm looking out for.
Justin
Because
Justin Fields was really productive as a running quarterback for that first half of the season in Pittsburgh. He was 4-2 as a starter, and a lot of his best plays were with his legs. So, yeah,
him and Kenneth Walker in the backfield, like, and the way the Chiefs work, like, they will make you think that Fields is gonna, when he comes on the field, it's a read option. There'll be that one time that he throws, and you know, they're not gonna just use him as a run, like in his backup
yeah,
form.
yeah. Justin Fields can throw the ball deep. He just
Yeah,
struggles with most of the rest of the throws.
there you go. And what has Mahomes struggled with? Deep throws. So this could work out.
Yeah, so we're not worried about Kansas City. You know, good teams find a way. They are identified running back, right? They've gone after it. I think they still need to go after a receiver.
Yes. And well, there's a receiver they know very well out there who every day that he hasn't signed a deal, his demands will be coming down. And that's Tyreek Hill. So wouldn't that be something if Tyreek Hill went back to the Chiefs? Because I don't know I don't know what the deal is. It must, I'm assuming because like he's obviously not fully recovered, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a nasty injury. So
yeah. So he could be literally signed in August, possibly by someone. But see, I know it's obviously hard to do it right now, but let's just say that he does come back, 80%. He's moving the needle for a team.
absolutely, absolutely. He's probably the receiver who was the most devastating for a period. Like over a short period, he was absolutely devastating. He kind of changed the game.
Yeah. And he devastated me in that first Super Bowl with what was it, Jet 2 Wasp. My goodness. So I think it's a long game for him. Like this will go on all off season probably, but I really do think like
Yeah,
if he can go to a contender,
yeah,
he can seriously move the needle.
absolutely, absolutely. He was still really good with the Dolphins, like
Yeah,
up until he got hurt.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah, Tyreek Hill, like yeah, you want to see if he posts a workout video. I don't really think it's his style to post on his socials like a workout video that, yeah, look, I'm back. Then, yeah, a contended team, provided he's not going to be a huge pain in the butt, which he can be, but
year one though, year one, Tyreek Hill won't be. I don't think, and I think he's going through a divorce, so he probably will want to get paid again.
she's got half his money, the previous money,
Yeah,
to be determined.
to be determined. Okay, so I think that's it, Paul. Really, like I've got a draft for us to end if you've got nothing else.
Okay,
So random draft because we haven't done a draft in a while.
cool.
In the spirit of you being a Steelers fan, me being a 49ers fan, I thought we'd just do a draft of players to have played for our teams.
Oh, wow.
So the stipulation is the player has to have played for the 49ers and the Steelers. Selfishly, I'm going to start us off because I simply have to pick this guy. Give me Emmanuel Sanders, the original route technician. I love Sanders. I loved him in Denver. And when I got the news that he had been traded to the 49ers, that was like a great day for me. I'm sure I told you how I felt on that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Sanders. He was really, really good. I was devastated to see him leave Pittsburgh, but you know, he went on to be really good in the league, as we knew that he was gonna be when he left. I was pleased for him to, go on and get his championship. Like, so
I
credit.
wish we could have made it too. Like if Jimmy's throw was just this closer.
Oh,
But he made such like I only had him for 1 year. He made such a difference for us that year.
I think this guy played 1 year for you towards the end of his career. You can correct me. This could be wrong because I don't remember this guy. I don't remember, his 49ers time as being like, obviously he was towards the end. Did Rod Woodson play for you?
Rod Woodson did play for us.
Right. Rod Woodson was a superstar as a corner, as a kick returner, as a safety towards the end. Like he changed that Ravens defense. He was on that Ravens um like dominant defense with Ray Lewis. In his early days, he was like track star, like at cornerback. Yeah, he was just immense as a player, Rod Woodson. And yeah, I like him as a media personality now. He's calm, he's intelligent, he's articulate, and he's not one of these shouty guys. And I've got very fond memories of Woodson, like growing up watching him. My first, like, wow, he's a really damn good cornerback.
Love it. I'm gonna pick someone that was before my time, but having watched his football life and highlights, I mean, I'd have loved to have seen this guy play, in real time. Kevin Green,
Wow.
like just high energy, just high production. I think I saw that he had 10 double-digit sack seasons. So he had about 160 sacks, I think. But you could just see his character, like his persona. Your whole team is gonna get lifted by a guy like that.
Yeah, he was crazy as a player.
It's like a wrestler on the field.
Yeah, that the origins of the zone blitz from Pittsburgh, him and Greg Lloyd like rushing the quarterback from the outside, and then he went on to like you say, like play for the 49ers. He got a big payday from the Panthers, and yeah, he was a great player, and he had that because of his look, like that long blonde hair, like shaking around outside of his helmet, just added to his image. He was a great player. That's a good one. 49ers Steelers players.
I tell you what, this is a tough one. Like we'll have to do more of these, but
Yeah,
um,
49ers Steelers players. Obviously, Inca comes to mind, but I'm sure there's like a more spectacular one.
who was that?
No, 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 sorry. Minka doesn't. Minka never played. Why do
I wish. I think I've said it to you so
I
many times that
do
I
you know why
wish he played.
they be playing in San Francisco? That's ignore me. Ignore me. He's now on the Jets. God.
He's on the Jets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's from New Jersey, so at least he's gone home. But
They've stacked the roster with experience, but
yeah,
we've seen how that goes sometimes.
yeah. Demario Davis at
38.
49ers Steelers. God damn.
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've got a good one. I've got a good one. I'm hoping you're not going to pick him.
Give me a position on the field.
Linebacker, defensive line.
I'm stumped. Linebacker played for the Steelers and the 49ers.
Not for a long time.
He didn't play for the 49ers for a long time, played for the Steelers for a long time.
Both were short stints.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to pass. And
It's a tough draft, I've got to say. I mean, the one I had in mind, I'll give you my last one, was the gravedigger Javon Hargrave, because
of
I
course,
loved his play for the Niners. Like, even though it was short lived, he got injured and then became a cap casualty. But
yeah. See, he wasn't spectacular for the Steelers. We drafted
no,
him like, yeah, okay, like huge, big human, but when he left, it weren't like, oh, damn, like we could replace him. But then
yeah,
he went
yeah.
on to be a better player with the 49ers, for sure. But
So I mean, you know, you know what? I'll leave it to you for next week. You pick two teams, you know, whatever theme you want,
yeah,
and
49ers,
because this one's tough, because we had like the linebacker I was thinking of was Quan Alexander. Like, this isn't. I did, and I
yeah,
specified this isn't like best players to play for Steelers 49ers. I just said players to play for Steelers
he was
49ers.
maybe good for your team, but he was not, not a great player for my team. And
Yeah.
that's what's difficult about this. Like a guy who you remember as being spectacular for your team,
Yep. Yep.
for both teams. Um,
A
yeah,
lot of stinkers. A lot of stinkers because Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Akello Witherspoon. Yeah.
Witherspoon. Although he wasn't terrible for the Rams, but the Rams were so confident in Witherspoon they had to go out and make some trades for corners this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Witherspoon starting on the outside, then you could do
They're in
it.
trouble.
Probably not a Super Bowl winning kind of a job.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff. Good stuff as always. Attention is definitely shifting now away from free agency.
Yeah,
I want to start looking at the draft. Well, probably a bit later than usual, to be honest.
yeah, towards the end of April. So yeah, we're less than a month away.
Wow. Wowza. Okay. Good stuff. Well, we will see you next week. And as always, thank you for staying with us. We will get through this off season.